Well, I think this AI video is the perfect explanation to what really happened with those Epstein files.
We were prepared to announce the full release and disclosure of the Epstein files, but unfortunately a dog tragically escaped into the Oval Office and ate all the files. This was the one and only copy we had of the files, and now they are gone forever. We will never know who was on the Epstein list, probably.
How convenient, as of course the story of the decade just keeps being magnified by the day. All of this as South Park had a very interesting depiction of these current events as members of the Senate are acting in a very serious way, as Pam Bondi has yet another excuse for why she's not attending a human trafficking event. What in the world is going on here? As there's a lot of different depictions, a lot of different things that are just sadly becoming more and more absurd here as the culture clearly is catching up with the controversy, as Donald Trump has even made some very candid statements himself saying, hey, I'm screwed either way here. Is that the actual scenario? Is that the actual truth here? We're going to be examining that and a lot more all here on this independent media broadcast. If you appreciate these type of frank conversations, subscribe, click the notification. I know some people loved the new South Park. I know some people hated the new South Park. I have my own particular take on it. I thought it was a very interesting show that I watched the last night here. But the story once again remains. What in the world is still going on with these Epstein files? Will we get some answers, as we are getting unconfirmed reports of President Donald Trump privately telling his friends about the Epstein saga that they're, quote, going to accuse me of some funny business, saying that despite having no involvement, they're going to F me anyways. My question is, who is they? As the theory that we've kind of been coming more closer to the realization of is that there probably is a blackmail extortion operation that's being carried out against the President of the United States, as there are other arguments being made that previous presidents were also being extorted, also being blackmailed, and it does explain why American foreign policy, especially when it comes to some of the biggest key industries in the world, especially when it comes to the intelligence agencies being able to do and get whatever they want, usually remains the same, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, which makes you wonder, wait, hold on. Maybe America is run on blackmail. Maybe the whole thing is a scam within a Ponzi scheme, within an enigma and a conspiracy meant to screw over the American public, their tax dollars, their support for this system that willingly will sacrifice children for its benefit and empowerment. Now, I have a couple feelings about who I think they are, but I'll get into that in a little bit here, as clearly it looks like the situation is a very tough one for the President of the United States. He is facing a lot of scrutiny. He is facing a lot of criticism. He's facing a lot of backlash, especially from a lot of his constituents, a lot of his supporters who are just kind of bewildered, asking the question, what's going on here, after the media is able to take pot shot after pot shot against him. Some of it fake, some of it real, and the more and more he kind of leaves himself vulnerable here, and I think he's finally realizing, yeah, either way, things are not looking good for me. And at least he realizes that. I mean, when he was telling everybody, nothing to see here, folks, no blackmail, no extortion, case closed, you're a weakling, you're not my supporter if you're asking about this, it truly does show someone that is entangled in this web of mystery and conspiracy pretty severely, as these comments now, according to the Daily Beast, are what he is saying to other people. And listen, I think now it's only going to be a matter of time until we actually find out exactly what's going on here. This, as his DOJ and his former lawyer is actually meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell right now in the making of this video. Now, what will Ghislaine say? Anything to save her butt. Okay, she's in jail. She's serving a very long jail sentence. And now we have the predicted markets that are betting that the odds of her getting a pardon by Donald Trump have gone up 14%. There's also some weird statements from Donald Trump years ago wishing her well, and then doubling down, saying, yeah, I wish her well. I don't mean bad to anyone, as her girlfriend, her boyfriend lost his life in jail, and he made that distinction with more bewilderment from the American public, being like, he was the trafficker of children to very powerful people here. As of course that wasn't the best optic here leading up to everything, as now Attorney General Pam Bondi decided to skip a human trafficking summit. Now, why is Pam Bondi skipping a human trafficking summit? Allegedly it's because of gas. But let's just be honest with ourselves with the way that this administration has been acting, with the latest Wall Street Journal reporting that has been verified by other sources, many people coming forward. We have that Elon Musk tweet. It does look like that's exactly what happened here. He was told, you're in the files. That's when a lot of the shenanigans started. And when looking at this particular case here, it's tough for individuals like Pam Bondi. Now, Pam Bondi has definitely been a good foot soldier here for Donald Trump. I think it's fair to say that. And you saw Donald Trump compliment her. You saw Donald Trump says she's doing a fantastic job, outstanding job. She doesn't have to answer any questions about Epstein, especially when they were doing a joint press conference here. As of course, the questions are only going to keep magnifying here, especially from the corporate media. And Donald Trump keeps trying to deflect. He's saying we got more important stuff to talk about. We got Obama to talk about. This, as Tulsi Gabbard is doing an incredible job, according to a lot of the sources, actually getting a lot of the dirt and information. Now, before talking about South Park and these new legislative measures, we wanted to tell you about LukeUnfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you doing? It's quick, it's easy, it's simple, and it supports this independent media broadcast. Without you guys, I would not be able to be here to do the work that I do. And I'm only able to do that mainly because of your direct one-on-one support. And it means the world to me, and that's why I try to give back. I talk to you guys almost every day on the Telegram channel. If you become a member, we talk. Let's talk about news stories. Let's talk about what's going on. I tell you what's happening behind the scenes here as well. I share some photos. And then we also do in real life meetups. We just did one in Milwaukee, which was really fun, really awesome. We did range days before, which were really exciting, which were really fun. And then, of course, we also did nature hikes. We're doing another one in Gdańsk, Poland, August 1st. So, yeah, I know it's a little bit out there, but I'm visiting family. And I'm super excited about... I just want to stay home. I don't want to travel. But you know, if I'm going to be in Poland, I want to spend it with my family and then my kind of extended family, which is you guys. And I really do always appreciate the opportunities I get when I get to hang out, get to know you guys, and get to see where the sausage is made here. Of course, you guys supporting me allows me to do what I do, and I am eternally grateful for all of your gracious help and support throughout the years. I can't thank you enough for everything, and I have tremendous amounts of gratitude for you guys supporting me. And then I go, and you guys know, if you guys are members, I go out of my way to try to give back as much as I can here. Now, what's going to be happening with Ghislaine Maxwell? Well, there's going to be testimony that she's going to be given to the DOJ. She's also probably going to be testifying for members of Congress as well. She's probably going to be asked a lot of very interesting questions. We should expect a transcript of that to be released to the general public, but it's pretty fair that she's going to say anything that she needs to say in order to try to get a pardon for her, to make sure that she gets out of jail here. Now, Pam Bondi dropping out sorry, I have to correct the record here. It wasn't because of gas. It was because of a torn cornea. Again, lots of pressure on her. She's been a good foot soldier. Lots of pressure on Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. Allegedly, there's a lot of infighting between Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi. And you saw Kash and Dan looking like they saw a ghost, what looked like an interrogation tape a few months ago, when they were telling everyone, no, the official version of it actually makes sense here. As, let's just be honest, I think they try to pull a fast one on us, and this is such a big event, and they know the stakes here, that they understood the big ramifications of this, and they said, holy cow, we can't execute this correctly because this is just too much of an insane, crazy scenario that clearly there's a lot of government wrongdoing. Now, obviously, I think the intel agencies are involved here. Obviously, I think other governments' intel agencies are also involved here. And I think the truth, if we ever are going to get it, will come from these other intel agencies if they ever decide, or if they are ever pressured, which I doubt they will because they have vast, overwhelming amounts of power, to actually release the data and information and the financial transactions. I think once we see the financial transactions, I think we're going to be able to link them through foreign and domestic intel operations that were meant to, of course, secure the bag for individuals like Reid Hoffman, Bill Gates, and other major kind of billionaire luminaries out there. As of course, Jeffrey Epstein was also heavily involved in Silicon Valley. He was heavily involved in scientific eugenics projects. He was involved in creepy projects with dolls and children. The guy was trying to impregnate 30 women all at once. Okay? A lot of weird stuff going on here. All right? All right, this is not your average Joe here. All right, we're talking about submarines, helicopters, private islands, the largest homes on record in states as now. We might even get a bigger perspective to what Epstein was involved in, as we are finding out that his birthday book could be subpoenaed and could be released to the general public. As a lawyer for more than 200 of Jeffrey Epstein's victims called on Congress to subpoena his estate for his birthday book. And again, we saw allegedly, according to the Wall Street Journal, Donald Trump has denied this letter, that Donald Trump sent Jeffrey Epstein during his birthday. Again, Donald Trump denied that. But The Hill writes, this book includes provocative letters from very high-profile associates. Now, who else is a very high-profile associate? Of course, Prince Andrew is the first person to come to note here, Woody Allen, Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein. I mean, you name it. My goodness, golly gracious. Les Wexner, I think. And listen, why aren't we subpoenaing Les Wexner? Why aren't we subpoenaing... Listen, if Donald Trump really wants to get ahead of this, he needs to expose what in the world's really going on here. And he could go to Les Wexner and say, hey, testify. Maxwell, okay, she's testifying for the DOJ now. Okay, that's good. But again, she's in jail, so she has maximum pressure put on her. Acosta, who gave him the sweetheart deal of a lifetime. Let's have them subpoenaed. Let's have some testimony there as well. As the Wall Street Journal last week, of course, reported on the letter for the 50th birthday, and now we have the attorney on MSNBC calling for the release of the documents. Here's the clip from MSNBC talking about this very specific issue.
I want to go to that book because with your familiarity with evidence against Jeffrey Epstein, which you've collected a lot of through the discovery process, what do you know specifically about that book? Do you know that the estate, the relatives of Jeffrey Epstein, in effect through their lawyers, are in possession of that birthday book?
Yes, I know that the executors of the estate are in possession of that book. And I think that after they turn it over, it should probably be set in the Smithsonian as an artifact at this point in time. It's going to go down in history so that the world can see this book, and they'll know who were Jeffrey Epstein's best friends at the time, what letters did his family write to him, what other pictures are in there, things of that nature.
I'm curious. I want to know all that stuff, especially the other associates that might have other information. As of course, is Peter Thiel involved here a little bit more? As of course, there's business deals with him. And again, I could just keep going, naming off names and names and names and names. But until we actually see it, I think it's important to note here that, again, maybe everyone mentioned here might not be guilty, but, and again, that's the argument that a lot of Trump supporters are making, but they are hanging out with the known creep that has been known for literally just like taking off his pants and egging it. I'll leave it like that. In front of people while making direct eye contact. Because of course he also had a thing for young girls with braces. I mean, everything here stinks to high heaven here. And listen, I wouldn't be caught hanging out with a guy like that. I'll just be quite honest with you. I wouldn't, if a guy's doing that, And again, a lot of people hung out with him and did more business deals with him after he was a registered offender. Donald Trump didn't. It's an important distinction here. But guess what? A lot of other prominent, very powerful people did.
Redact victim names, release the book, and move on. So that's it. Yes, the executors have it.
So you've just identified, not just for the news media, but obviously for House representatives who are now in a mood to subpoena, and also Todd Blanche and the Trump Justice Department, who suddenly are getting curious about investigating this. You've now told them exactly, according to your knowledge, where the birthday book is, who is in possession of that book. And all the House representatives would have to do tomorrow is write up a subpoena for that book, and you believe that it would be the lawyers involved would comply with that subpoena?
I know the executors' lawyers. I've worked with them for years. They're good people. They're good lawyers. They would comply with the subpoena immediately. It's something that we could solve this problem so quickly if people actually want to solve problems.
And listen, this wouldn't have been an issue if it wasn't for the Streisand effect for Donald Trump here. But now there's politicians, there's lawyers, there's victims, there's a lot of people coming forward out of the woodwork being like, let's get anything and everything we can here. Because a lot of people, I think, deep down understand once you unravel this, you unravel how there's an entire blackmail operation run on all the most prominent politicians. And once we get rid of that blackmail operation, once we get rid of an evil, powerful force within government that sacrifices children for influence, once we get rid of that, then maybe we can have a semblance of a government that actually represents the people. Because there's already a lot of people arguing Trump promised a lot of things and he's not delivering, and the new boss sure as hell is acting like the old boss. Okay? And a lot of people aren't happy about this. They're not happy about the bombing of Iran. They're not happy about the weaponization of the Ukraine war. They're not happy about how these Epstein files were handled. As of course, Thomas Massey's coming out and saying the Speaker of the House recessed Congress early yesterday for a month to avoid dealing with the Epstein issue. Mr. Speaker, the American people won't forget my legislation isn't going away. I'll be right here when we return and I'll force a vote using a discharge petition. This as Senate Republicans are also demanding state federal courts immediately unseal all Epstein documents. And of course they probably won't because the judges were part of the cover-up effort, a part of everything here. As we have U.S. Senator Mullen coming out and saying, I'm headed to the floor now to drop a resolution calling on federal and state courts to immediately unseal all material that were part of any criminal investigation or prosecution of Jeffrey Epstein or Ms. Ghislaine Maxwell, subject only to redaction to protect victims. Now, if this passes as an official resolution, the judges might actually be forced to comply here, because if you look at what Donald Trump did, he just kind of asked, he's like, can you guys do this, please? If you want, redact whatever information you want. This is a little bit more clearer, a little bit more better here. And listen, this is a crisis. It's a crisis on Trump's hands. It's self-inflicted, and listen, he just needs to rip off the Band-Aid, release all the information. He knows he's screwed either way. I think he's just, there's no logic or like thinking here for long term. Listen, and then of course there's what happened with South Park, which again, some people are critical of. Tim Pool says, I like South Park, but it's just so tired to do the same Trump-ish for 10 years. This one's a little bit different, and listen, a lot of people are facing a lot of fatigue since Donald Trump has been so unfairly attacked by the corporate media. And I think it's fair to say that what's happening right now is people attacking him, but it could have been prevented if he listened to his base. His base was warning, hey, come on, don't do this, this is bad, let's please try to get some justice here. Let's try to make good on your campaign promise, or else this is going to blow up, and then it blew up. As far as the South Park episode goes, listen, to me it's entertainment. Anytime I watch entertainment, I make sure to shut off my brain. I don't want the subconscious subliminal propaganda. It was very overt against Donald Trump to the point where it was just a little bit too obscene. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to. If you watch the episode, I don't want to say this. All right. That's not what I usually, I don't want to, but that's the visual image that everyone's left with, as of course, very lowbrow, but what did you expect from South Park? I personally enjoyed the show because I turned off my political mind and I said, I'm not going to worry about politics. I'm just going to enjoy the show. And I actually did enjoy the show. Now, sadly, everything is politics. I kind of like the episode. Some people are critical of the episode, but again, it's a cartoon. It is speaking to the cultural type of norms here. The Trump criticism, I think they just went overboard with it a little bit too much, but I think they're also doing it because they just got a huge mega deal for like $1 billion to do 50 episodes. Paramount just had to settle with Trump because of CBS and 60 Minutes. And the 60-minute clip that they did in the show, hilarious. I think Cartman, my spirit animal, hilarious to have him say what he said. Specifically about NPR. Brilliant. I loved it. I love those takes. So some of the Trump hate, whatever. Some of it was just a little bit too much, but you know, I don't care. It was a comedy show, and I enjoyed it. And Donald Trump is opening himself up to this. Right now, all you can do is damage control, and the best way to damage control, release anything and everything you got, hold powerful people accountable, get rid of this blackmail operation once and for all, and let's try to start anew. Let's try to start with new forms of government that are transparent, accountable, and actually are able to admit when they're wrong and to fix the problems that we're facing in an honest, real kind of peer-to-peer way. And again, if there ever was an opportunity for things to change dramatically, it is now, it is this year. I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Wish me luck on my travels. I hope to see you guys in nice Poland. Look, I'm in my old place. Look at that. I still have a shirt here from like 5 years ago. I got fooled. And look at the quality of it. It's still really good here. So get the shirts on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys watching the show. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechanged.